I am a firm believer that boundaries are the key to living a healthy life and an imperative part of having a good self care practice. And while I talk about all of the people that we should have boundaries with, many people ask me, should we have boundaries with ourselves? And my answer is 100% yes. You definitely need to have boundaries in place for yourself. Without having healthy boundaries in place for yourself first, you're going to in turn be unable to set healthy boundaries for others. When we don't have boundaries in place, it makes it difficult to set a standard for how we should be treated and what people are allowed to say or do to us. In turn, when you have healthy boundaries in place, you set a standard for what you will tolerate. So let's talk about what it looks like to create healthy boundaries for yourself. The first boundary that you need to set for yourself is making a non-negotiable decision to make self-care a priority. A lot of times we put ourselves on the back burner because we have a lot of obligations and things that take our attention. But ultimately, you have a relationship with yourself, and it's the longest relationship you will have. And so the best thing that you can do is take care of yourself. Let yourself know that you matter. Remind yourself that you're important. So when you're setting a boundary around self-care, that may look like scheduling a massage and not canceling the appointment. That may look like turning your phone off at a certain time so that you can rest. That may look like sitting silent with yourself and telling your husband or your children that you need to be alone for a minute with no interruptions. Self-care must be a key component to a boundary that you are putting in place for yourself. The second key to your self-care boundary strategy is to watch what thoughts control you. A lot of times we don't realize it, but our thoughts do control us. We have an emotion and then we respond, and then our life reflects that. The truth is our inner critic is going to beat us up. Studies say we have over 80,000 thoughts a day, and over 80% of those are often negative. And so the truth of the matter is, unless we are able to get in control of our thoughts, we're not going to in turn be able to control our actions, which will ultimately impact our life. And so an example of how you can create a boundary around your thought is if you notice your inner critic saying something nasty, like you're so stupid, or I can't believe you did that, or you just always make mistakes. Feel that thought, but then shut it down and replace it with something positive. Choose to reframe your thoughts on a regular basis so that you can focus on positive thinking instead of negative thinking. And when you shift to a more optimistic lens, it really changes your perspective and outlook on the world. It's important that we take ownership of our life. That includes our actions and our choices. And so the third way to implement boundaries with yourself is to pay attention to your actions and your choices. Ultimately, the choices that we make and the actions we take impact us. So for example, if we're unforgiving towards someone who hurt us, that doesn't hurt the other person. That impacts our life negatively. And so it's important that we get in control of our thoughts so in turn we can make a positive outcome with our actions. You must take control and responsibility for your actions and make those choices that are going to set you up for success, that are going to positively benefit you and not harm you. When we're setting boundaries with ourselves, it's going to be difficult because most people don't like boundaries. We've gotten used to our routines, our actions, and our choices. And so to come in and change things can be very challenging, but the outcome is well worth it. So I challenge you today to start putting things in place so that you're setting boundaries that are going to set you up for success. Comment below and let me know what boundaries you have already set in place and how they're working, or maybe where you're struggling with boundaries. If you're needing extra assistance, I also put a link in the comments below where you can check it out and sign up for a totally free call where we can talk about ways that you can implement boundaries starting right away and ultimately benefit yourself. So make sure you hit like and subscribe, and until next time, I will chat with you guys later.